Hello all, my name is Erta the Wanderer, and I've come out of the jungle today for a very special occasion to talk with not only one of our great generals, the Great Lizard Wizard, hello Wizard,
Hello.
but also a guest from our allies in the Elven factions, the High Lord Regent BadAxe. Hello BadAxe, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, Teclis has just managed to pull some more elves out of the nether. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, I'm feeling fantastic. They have opened up so many opportunities for us.
Yep, there's a
Yeah,
lot of fun stuff in here.
There's a lot of crazy combinations that you can do, stuff where some of us have had to go back and look back through the core rules of AOS to be like, is this how this can I
mm,
break this rule?
uh, the age-old problem of being an elf.
When they give you a bunch of rules that say you don't have to follow this rule, you have to go back and look and go, exactly how is this worded again? Am I breaking the rules in the right way?
Oh, I'm sure you'll cope. But before we dive into that, we've got, well, we are a Seraphon channel. We have some fairly exciting news
yeah.
Oh yeah.
because our great Lord Croak has returned to us in fine splendor.
hmm
Good Lord, look at him.
Fine splendor, no longer fine cast.
My
Lord.
my only complaint is that about 6 weeks ago, I finished the 3 week long project of painting my old Lord Croak.
No, this is going to be a much longer project. This,
Yeah.
as much as I think he's pretty, this is going to be a nightmare to paint. Just, and transport. Just look at it. Holy crap.
Yeah, transportation is my concern. Like, it's beautiful, and I like that they found a way around flight stands.
Uh huh.
Like, I think they did a better job with that than they did Teclis
Oh,
avoiding flight stands.
sorry,
Um,
Axe, but definitely.
um, but yeah, man, transporting it is gonna be tricky.
Yeah, he looks like he has 3 points of contact, the vines in the back and the two stone struts on the sides.
hmm
So it's not
Yep.
the worst thing they've done. It's not Nagash. It's not Lady Olinder. But,
Yeah, with the as an owner of the Silent King from 40K, a lot of us were originally concerned with how precarious his attachment to his base is, as it's just a bunch of little lightning bolts
hmm
holding up this massive
Yeah.
chariot. And
mm,
Croak looks smaller than that, and I
Yes.
painted him, so man, I think Croak's gonna be good. I think he's gonna be a better experience for you than the Silent King was for Necron players.
fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think I'll have to paint it in quite as many sub-assemblies.
Mm. But it's got
Oh yeah.
vines intertwining with gold, intertwining with brick, intertwining with different brick, intertwining with, oh, so many feathers.
But I love blacklining. Like, I think I'm one of the few people that actually really enjoys blacklining miniatures. So I'm excited for that. Like, this is a model that's going to do really well if you can provide distinction and separation to all the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, I am genuinely looking forward to painting this model. Uh, I'm excited. I'm just sad. Like, I was so happy with how my Croak came out. And now he's just going to be a relic priest that replaces my Slan.
Mm. Yep, I might have to pull the trigger and get an airbrush just for this model.
Yeah, that the art put out by GW is obviously airbrushed, but it still looks pretty good. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, probably not the detail work, but certainly the stonework.
hmm hmm
I'm interested to see what they change about him. If they're going to keep him with the same general war scroll, I suspect they're going to update it, and how it updates,
They're
I'm
definitely
concerned
gonna,
it's either going to be like an oh my god or an oh why.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're definitely gonna update him because he's on what looks to be at minimum an 80 millimeter base.
probably 100,
Um,
from what I
yeah,
hear.
it's probably 100. So I'm guessing he's gonna be anywhere from 12 to 18 wounds.
They're
So I
definitely
think
going to make him more than 9 so he can't fit on a Balewind anymore.
exactly. I was gonna say I don't think he's gonna be on a Bellwind.
But the
Um,
thing is, his War Scroll's still the same as it was in Fantasy Battle up until now, with like minor tweaks to make it fit the rules. So they're probably going to update it. But they've
Yeah,
also been very lazy with Seraphon rules in the past. So I don't know.
He could be on a similar size base though, because that's what tricked a lot of us Lumineth players when we were looking at our new at Severus and our new Wind Mages. We're like, wow, he actually looks pretty big, and then you get him, he's on a very small base.
true. It could just be the perspective.
Mm.
Um,
But if he's on a normal small base, this is going to be really detailed painting, and I'm not good at that.
and it's going to be a really small slan. Like, if he's on a slan-sized base, he's teeny.
Well, we can assume that the skink
The
priest
skink
there
is
is the
skink-sized?
same, is king sized.
Yeah, which makes
Which,
this a big model.
yeah, it makes it, yeah, it looks bigger than 80.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think 100 milliliters is probably the right place to aim for, which means that he's slightly bigger base than wait, no, Kroxigor are what, 60s? 75s?
Yes, they're 60s.
Then yeah, he's about a
And
half again as big as
slans are
those.
60s.
So, yeah, it's not that big of a change, but still.
And I mean, look at him. Look at how much of the width of the model, like the like his palanquin looks like it occupies the entire circumference of the base, and then like the orbital shards of the realm shaper engine of the gods, whatever that esque thing, overhangs the base by quite a bit. Um, like this looks
Hmm.
like a big kit.
Yeah. So, crossing my fingers that he ends up being good. They have a 50% chance with their god models of it being good.
At least so far, like what they've done with Marathi, what they've done with Teclis.
You're pointing at the 50% success rate, yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Then
think
you
the god
po-
model before that.
then you pointed at Lariel and Nagash, who's fun but not good, and
Archaon.
the Fist of Gork.
Mm-hmm.
But
Gordrak.
Godrak. There's a bunch of them that are great and a bunch that are just awful, and there's only one middle ground, and his name's Nagash.
So
Yeah.
I expect that Croak is still going to be good. I'm not necessarily expecting him to be an auto include because he's definitely going to go up in points.
Mm-hmm.
And so depending on what that edges out, will make a big difference. I'm hoping, and this is pure speculation, that he's going to have rules for unique to Coalesced and rules unique to Starborn. Like I would love to see him just give you an automatic 6 Celestial Conjuration points every turn.
Oh crap, that'd be awesome.
Like something like that for Coalesce or for Starborn. And then for Coalesced, have something like don't take Battle Shock while he's on the table.
Oh, that would be so useful. It would
Yeah,
completely negate the negative for taking Coalesced.
exactly. So I don't know. I would like to see something like that.
Yeah,
But who knows?
I think
like,
he's gonna land around 600 points because I'm just comparing him with Teclis. He's a better mage than Teclis is, but doesn't have him out. So I think that's about the range he's gonna end up in.
Yep. I'm interested to see what his artifacts are as well. Like he's obviously got
He's got the gold
the
max
scepter and hook. Yep.
Yeah, he's probably got grubs.
Yep. And then he's got what it looks like a modified version of his death mask. Like this one's all souped up. So I'm interested to see what he has. Like I don't know, maybe he's gonna get like a Lady Linder type thing with his death mask, like a frightful visage or something like that. I'm excited.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all speculation at this point. We have no idea.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Nowadays he's very much like a magical bomb type character, at least the way I've seen him used. He comes forward on his Balewind and he just nukes whatever needs to go away.
Oh, that's what he's always been.
It'll be interesting if they keep him that way or if they make him more a magic utility piece while also still doing a little bit of damage. Because Seraphon needs that bit of damage, but
Well, we need spells that aren't crap.
Yeah, all of our slan spells are pretty crap, except for Equilibrium and Tempest.
I wonder if they'll give him his own spell lore.
That's what I was saying on Discord and Lustria. Your faction just got an entire school of magic for like one wizard. I was hoping they'd do so for Croak, like give him the lore of the old ones, especially because the old ones are rumored to be coming back into the setting.
Yes.
And
Well, and there's always been rumors that Croak is an old one, that he's not the first Slan, but he's the old one that made the Slan. So I don't know. They could play with that too.
maybe I give that less credence, but we'll see. They don't have no lore for Seraphon. They can do literally whatever, and it would fit.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be exciting to see what battalions and whatnot they get, as some of the, or pretty much most
Yep.
of the factions in Teclis got a battalion.
Well, we're
Some
getting
of
the
them-
Celestial Stampede, but and a whole bunch of endless spells in Bellicor. But we're getting the Shyish, the bridge, the boat, but outside of that, not a whole lot in Bellicor. Not even we don't know when Croak's coming. He's not in the next book.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
Yep.
let's see. Any other news of the pressing kind that we won't be talking about in Teclis? Because there's a lot of stuff in Teclis.
Not that I can think of. That's like the big thing.
I mean, yeah, it's all encompassing in my mind at the moment.
Yeah, I'm so excited and so sad. Oh, not to toot my own horn, but my Croak is gorgeous.
Yeah, I never got him because he was out of stock, and I had a Slan, and all my lists called for a Slan because I was
Yeah.
expecting a hard nerf on Croak,
Mm,
just like they did the last time he was a bit too good.
yeah.
You gotta wait till they release the Legends rules for him, and then find an opponent that's okay with you running 2 Croaks and multiple other Slans, and just have the power chair
The
brigade.
council. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing they're bringing the old ones back because they've been killing off so many Slan in the lore. Like
Hmm.
70% of the Seraphon appearances are Slan dying, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
have many left. I think we have like 3 dozen, and that's it.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, with that out of the way, we've got a new Broken Realms book,
Woohoo.
which
Ooh.
it's all on the front. It's basically Light Elves and very little else.
I didn't get to pick mine up. My special order didn't make it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, we are going to touch on the disappointing death showing. Dip a bit into Nurgle, and then we're going to spend the last, 2 hours talking about everything the Light Elves got.
Mhm. The Flesh Eater Courts and Bone Reapers each got a battalion. Nurgle did not get a battalion.
But they got an
That's
updated
okay.
Slobody, who's actually
Yep.
pretty solid.
Biopiper, Scrivener, and Beast and Nurgles, and yes, they did get a battalion. And we got a new city.
Yeah.
What's their battalion do for them?
Invidian Plague Host. I guess we could start here. It includes 1 Sloppity Bilepiper, who becomes a named character, 1 Spoilpox Scrivener, who also becomes a named character, 2 units of Plague Bearers, and the rules comes with Bulwark of Flesh. The first time a Plague Bearers unit from this battalion is destroyed, a new Plague Bearers unit with 10 models is added to your army. Set it up wholly within your territory, wholly within 6 inches of the edge of the battlefield, and more than 9 inches from enemy units. That's not terrible at all.
So it's a once a game thing?
The first
If-
time a unit, yes.
Unit, yeah.
And
So it
then,
would happen for both units, but
yeah, and if the Sloppy Bilepiper gets, or has to be your army general, he gets a command trait instead of one for Maggotkin.
Mhm.
Rude Limericks. Add 1 to the bravery characteristic of Nurgle demon units from this battalion while they're wholly within 14 of the Sloppy Bilepiper from the same battalion, in addition to the modifier from Disease of Mirth ability.
Rude limericks. Oh man.
I don't
The Slobody
see
has
that as
the
very helpful.
best. The Slobody has the best named stuff ever, and I hate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like his song "My Love Is Like a Ripe Ripe Fart," that fits
Mm-hmm.
his faction perfectly, and I don't like it.
Okay, so that ability I just mentioned is another +1 to bravery for Nurgle demon units wholly within 14. So he does give +2 to bravery to guys within 14. So that would mean bravery 12.
12.
Plague Bearers?
Which
Not
is
terrible.
yeah, but it's also frankly not needed. Because like now you have a 30-man unit instead of bravery 12. That's bravery 15, which means they have to kill 9 guys before you're gonna battle shock at all. Like it doesn't. I'm just not seeing how much use I'm gonna get out of it.
And on top of that, it's on plague bearers who are okay.
Yeah, like the whole thing is that they're resilient and don't die super fast anyways.
Yeah.
I've never, and I've run Nurgle when they were not good. I've never felt like bravery was an issue for Nurgle. Like the only time it comes close to being an issue is when you're running Marauder bombs, and this doesn't help with that. So I don't know. Like I also don't know that I care too much about getting 20 plague bearers back over the course of the game, because 2 units will die. You'll get 20 back. They have to come on within the board edge and 9 away.
And
Like I can just use the summoning points that I naturally get from being Nurgle. Like I don't know. It doesn't strike me as what I would run.
There's a good chunk in this book that seems like that. That said, I do like the fact how they're doing named heroes now. Not necessarily getting their own models, but hey, if you run this battalion, your guy is a well-known hero.
Yes, like the idolaters for Slaves to Darkness, their chariot list, they did the same thing. That was great.
Yep, it would be a good way to bring back old heroes from the old world.
For sure. That battalion is 120 points.
Oof.
I'd say Plague Bearers actually could get fairly decent with what they changed to both of these guys.
I mean, Slobody is a much better unit now.
Here's the thing, though. Why would I ever take that when I can take Menagerie, which is another battalion that lets me heal D3 to each unit in it? Like, there's just no reason to take that over Menagerie. Like, Menagerie will bring back way more models than I will heal. It will bring them back where they're standing. And if I'm a smart player, they're standing where I want them to. If they're coming back 9 inches away, they're not necessarily coming back where I want them to. Like, I just don't see a reason to run it over Menagerie, especially when I can be 1-drop with that list, and I can't be 1-drop with this list.
That's fair. Menagerie would definitely be better than this. Yeah, I'm liking some of the buffs they give, like the Sloppy Bilepiper can give extra attacks to Plague Bearer units. The Strivener can give extra rend or extra attacks or extra save rolls.
You definitely want that. That upgrade's huge. The battalion is just what I don't like.
Right. Like the hero, Sloppity, is awesome now.
Mm-hmm.
And Shriv, I haven't actually taken a look at. I didn't know he was a thing. I do now. I was picking through rules to try and figure out everything that had changed.
And Beast of Nurgle needed some love. Like, he went up. He's 4 attacks now, right? 4s and 3s, rend 1/2 damage.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's a big improvement.
And he gained an additional attack with for his Tentacles and Slobbering Tongue is D6 attacks, 4s and 3s, no rend for 1.
Yep.
If before he makes a retreat move on a 4-up, he does D3 mortal wounds to people. He can run and or retreat and still charge. When he retreats, he can pass across other models in the same manner as someone that can fly.
Yeah, which is also great. And he does impact wounds.
Yeah, for each model that finishes within 1 inch of an enemy unit on a 2-up, take D3.
Yep.
Or if it's more than one model, for each model after it finishes its charge move, but do not allocate the mortal wounds till after all the models have finished their charge. So no piling people out of charge range or pulling people.
Yeah, so they're a good little dart now. Throwing them up there to affect pile-ins, enemy charges, they're great for that.
They did get a little more expensive though. They're 1 to 3 and 120 points each.
Yes, instead of 100. But I will happily pay 20 more points for that.
Oh yeah.
It's a substantial buff.
Yes. Now they can actually do the job they were supposed to do, which is to act as a dart that screws with enemy movement. I don't think you're running these as your kill blob by any means. That's still going to be plague drones if you're playing a pure demon list. But these are a lot better. Yeah, and Blight Kings and Blight Cysts otherwise. I mean, Plague Bearers got a lot better, being able to give them an extra attack and rend.
Oh yeah, well, looking at this, between the Bile Piper and the Spoil Pox, a combo you could do is both of them can give the unit +1 attack each, and then the Bile Piper can say each time a hit roll of 6 is rolled, it inflicts a mortal wound in addition.
Yep. Yeah, like that being automatic, because you used to have to put Blades of Putrefaction on them,
Right.
which meant you had to bring a mortal hero, and you had to get it off on a 7, and you have no bonuses to cast. That becoming automatic for this meta is huge. Like, Nurgle Demons got a lot better because of this book.
You could even
the
double
Battalion's
that up
just
almost.
subpar.
I am concerned that they're going to end up like Khorne, where it has to be a lattice work of perfectly placed buffers. It's not
What?
it's not
No.
player friendly, which is the main thing.
Khorne, you just bring 3 Bloodthirsters of Insensate Rage, roll 6s, and win.
Yeah, sure.
That's how I play it.
You're not wrong.
I don't tend to tempt the dice gods like that. Well, I don't tend to care about chaos regardless, but still.
That's fair. I mean, you're rolling like between the 3 of them and fighting again because you're whatever the. This isn't about Khorne.
No, it's not.
But it'll happen. You'll get like 2 or 3 6s.
Alrighty, so yeah, Nurgle got a substantial buff, which is awesome.
Yes.
Less so is poor OBR, who got a battalion that does exactly what they did in a different battalion, only worse.
Yeah, let me flip to that page. 1 Liege Cavalos, 2 units of Death Riders. The Cavalos becomes a named character. Each time pick a unit from this battalion to use the Rally Back command ability, roll a 4 up. If you do so, you receive a free discipline point. Pretty good if you're falling back and charging.
Doesn't the other battalion just let you do it without spending a discipline point for one of those units?
Yes, it does, and it doesn't lock you to a subfaction like this one does.
What does this one make you take? The Cavalry subfaction?
Uh-huh.
Staliac Lords. Although, if you're taking a lot of Death Riders, Staliac Lords isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, still, this is a worse version of a battalion they already have that locks you to a subfaction that no one uses.
Yeah, and it locks you to a command trait, and it locks you to an artifact.
Okay, so what's the command trait and artifact?
The command trait, he has to take the Twisted Challenge command trait from Bone Reapers, and the artifact, he has to take the Nadir Bound Mount. I think the challenge, I'm trying to remember what it does. It makes it easier for him to hit enemy characters.
I have my OBR book. Let's check.
The first thing I think is it's not the magic faction that just gets the I ignore all save sword.
Which
is
awesome.
Great.
But no, it's not that.
I'm just going to loudly flip through my book directly in front of my microphone.
Oh, for shame. We're a professional
book
group
superiority.
here.
So, Relics, Liege Cavalos only. It is Mind Blade? Is that the one?
Twisted Challenge.
Oh, the command trait. Let's see. Man. Liege Cavalos. Not seeing Twisted Challenge. Must be one of the sub-factions. Oh, it's probably the Staliac Lord one.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Staliac Lords. Twisted Challenge. At the start of your combat phase, pick an enemy hero within 3. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this general that target the enemy hero, but subtract 1 from hit rolls made by this general that target any other unit.
Ew,
so
that's awful.
Yeah. And then the Nadir Bound Mount, roll D3 additional dice when the Liege uses his Unstoppable Charge ability. The Unstoppable Charge is like the Ogre Charge, except it doesn't go off on 4s like for a lot of the Ogre Behemoths. It only goes off on 6s.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's definitely more
this is
of a
all
narrative
very
battalion.
bad.
Yep. But what is cool is he's a named hero who specifically has to be your general and gets a mount or a command trait and a relic. Normally named heroes don't get that.
Right.
So from a flavor perspective,
but you don't get the bonuses
kudos.
of being a named hero. It is
Exactly.
very flavorful.
So I like the direction, just do better.
Yeah, it's a very narrative base, so it's meant to represent the Staliac Lords like chasing the Lumineth around that were sent around in Shaiish during the course of the story.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, the
And they were
story where
the one
Teclis
bonus.
snaps his fingers and fixes all the problems.
Yeah, something like that. They were chasing down all the Lumineth that were running around telling all the people of Shaiish, you don't have to listen to Gash, you can be free! You can be free, I tell you! And
No, they
this
can't.
guy was riding behind them going, no, we ain't putting up with that.
You can be free until I get here.
Yeah. Freedom comes with consequences. One of those consequences is dying so that Nagash can raise you and you don't have a choice anymore. You can choose to be free for a short amount of time, but death is eternal.
Unless you're an elf eaten by Slanesh.
Oh, yeah. Then you get turned into a snake, or a deep sea abomination, or a pretty boy. 1 in 3 chance. Roll your dice.
Or you might get turned into whatever Malekith's working on, or he's Malarian now.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to see what those turn out to be.
Who knows?
Me too.
It's a bunch of speculation. Future will tell. Let's see.
I hope they're shadow ghosty elves.
Yeah, that's generally what we're hearing. And we do have that preview of that one warband, so probably look a lot like that.
For sure.
Let's see, Flesh Eater Courts. What did they get?
They got a battalion that has to have an aberrant arch regent who becomes a named character, and
Which is
a unit of
cool,
crypt
you always take
horrors. Oh yeah, unit of crypt horrors and unit of crypt ghouls.
Okay.
They gain
Okay.
do not take battle shock tests for units from this battalion that are wholly within 12 of the arch regent.
Okay.
The arch regent has to be your general. He must have the command trait. Or he must have this command trait instead of ones from Flesh Eater Courts. The Bright Emperor. Once per battle, this general can use the Ravenous Crusaders command ability without spending a command point.
That's not bad.
No. Like, that specific ability isn't. The rest is less important because you don't care about Battle Shotgun horrors.
That's not for the horrors, yes, but for the ghouls, you want roughly half of them to die so that you proc your chalice so that you can bring them all back.
Mm-hmm.
So surviving through the battle shock to get to bring them back is actually pretty useful. Like, you kind of have to yo-yo your hordes with Flesh Eater Courts. Like, they're no longer the murder bombs they used to be.
No. Well, not even a murder bomb. A stand there and kill them as they get to you.
Yeah. So being like that helps them with yo-yoing that. Now you don't have to rely on saving those command points that you want to be spending to frenzy and fight again and all that other stuff. Add D3 attacks. Like, now you can save those and use it for things other than battle shock. Like, you used to have to pocket them for battle shock to make sure you don't battle shock before your chalice saves you.
For sure. The battalion is only 100 points.
Oh, nice. And it's all stuff you're going to be taking anyway.
Yeah.
But it does have to be all from Hallowmorn.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay. I mean...
Well, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not Gristlegore, so... Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not Gristlegore or Blisterskin, GTFO.
Yeah. Oh, that is disappointing. At least everyone
If
gets
you
to
do
feel
play
my pain
Hallowmorn,
as a
though.
city fighter.
Yeah, if you do play Hallowmorn, though, hey, it's a buff.
Yeah. All right.
Could be worse. All right, now to the meat of the book. We have a good 8 new elf units and a whole bunch of stuff.
But we did skip the city. The new city's a Sigmar city.
Oh, right, that's a thing.
We can just hit on that real quick. The battalions, it's an Archmage, it's a Luminarch, and it's a Hurricanum. The Battle Mage becomes a named character, doesn't get anything for it. Only thing it does is it makes the 10-inch aura of the Luminarch for Feel No Pains a 5-up shrug, which pretty good for... It's not wholly within 10, it's just within.
Does it apply to mortal wounds?
It applies to all friendly cities of Sigmar.
Yeah, because Daughters of Cain came out and said it doesn't apply to mortal wounds, so I have no idea what I'm doing anymore.
This one does say wound or mortal wounds.
Okay, awesome.
And then it also allows you to reroll the chance to see if the Luminarch will do its mortal wounds. Because it draws a 30-inch line and roll for every unit.
Is this city bound? Is it Hollow Heart?
It is locked to Settler's Gain, which is the new one.
Oh, okay. So what's
Yeah.
the new one do?
Yeah, what are
Battalion
the...
is 140.
No,
Let's see.
what's
Settler's Gain.
what's the magic lore for that city? What is the what are the command abilities?
All right. You can choose one extra Settlers Gain Free Guild or Settlers Gain Collegiate Arcane Hero to have an artifact. So you basically just get a free extra artifact and can add one to casting rolls for all the Collegiate Arcane Wizards from
Oh, that's
Settlers
not bad.
Gain. You can have 1 in 4 of your guys be Lumineth Realm Lords, and they gain the Settlers Gain keyword. You can also have 1 in 4 be Stormcast.
Okay.
And you get a command ability, Elven Training. You can use it at the start of the Battle Shock phase. If you do pick a friendly Settlers Gain Lumineth Realm Lords hero, do not take Battle Shock tests in that phase for friendly Settlers Gain Free Guild or Settlers Gain Collegiate Arcane units that are wholly within 18 of that hero.
Okay.
So an important thing to note, a lot of the Lumineth spellcasters do not gain their spellcasting lore from Lumineth because they're not part of a Lumineth army. And the Settlers Gain spell lore is specifically for the Collegiate Arcane Wizards.
So you only
The
have the
one-
War Scroll spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lore Seeker that we'll talk about later actually doesn't care because he doesn't get one from the lore. And he only has one cast anyway.
Well, and the Cath Caller, like the control that the Cath Caller adds, is worth bringing in cities.
Yeah, her ignoring Battle Shock, she does lose the I get to take my negative Battle Shock and give it to you because that is a faction ability.
Right.
Yes, but she
That's-
still gets her spell,
Mhm.
which is pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
the
it's
city
pretty
doesn't
good.
have its own spell lore, doesn't have its own artifacts.
Oh, it does. So we'll
Oh,
get to that.
okay,
The
good.
artifacts, the first one, Personal Levitation, just gives your general fly. The second one is Strategic Mastermind.
Just
That's amazing.
You just get fly. The other one is on a 4-up, you receive a command point at the start of your hero phase. And the third one is the interesting one. You add 1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made by melee weapons with this general, but subtract 1 from save rolls made for melee weapons that target this general.
Okay.
To me, that screams put me on a general on Griffin.
Yeah. Either that or just run it in Hollow Heart. Not Hollow Heart, Hammerfell. In the battalion, the battalion does
That's
that
true.
too. But yeah,
Yeah, well, it's +1 to hit and wound, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what his sword does because he was sitting right over here for me.
I like my Griffin. I need excuses to use him, and this one lets me bring. Oh wait, Ruse is awesome outside of Lumineth. Oh well.
Yeah, the Sigmarite rune sword for him actually isn't bad. It's only 1 inch range, but it's 5 attacks, 3s and 4s, -1 for 2. That becomes 2s and 3s, -1 for 2.
Yep.
that's a substantial throughput.
Hmm? Yeah, I
then
normally run him in Hammerfell in the battalion with a bunch of buffs, and he hits and wounds on 2s for him and his Griffin. So this would make it so I don't have to do a Rude Goldberg machine to make that work.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and stand him next to the Hurricaneum, and the Griffin's hitting on 2s as well. Yeah, that could be pretty good. So those were the command abilities. They actually get 6 different artifacts.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried that, like, in the last book, the city in
It'd be
there
3.
didn't get artifacts, and so you couldn't take... There aren't any faction artifacts, you didn't get any.
Yeah, that was a weird one. So the first one's the Heartstone. First time the bear is slain before removing them from play, roll a die on a 4-up. They are not slain. 1 wound allocated to them is healed, and no wounds, and any wounds that remain to be allocated are negated. So just 4-up. Nope, I'm not dead.
Okay. Yeah, they keep giving
That's pretty good.
They keep giving our Rectress to people. I don't know why.
Next one is Talisman of Dispellation. You do not have to reduce the number of spells the bearer can attempt to cast in your hero phase if they attempt to dispel an endless spell in the same phase.
Oh. Okay, very
That's an interesting
situational,
one.
but I can think of a few lists that works in.
Well, and if you're
Yeah,
bringing your own endless spells and you're wanting to recast them, then it becomes very
Right,
useful.
I was thinking Comet Fall, and then popping that and throwing it again.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, Silver Plated Wand. The bearer can attempt to cast 1 extra spell in your hero phase. That's pretty good if you can throw it on your
It
Realm
depends
of
on the
Light
spells
mage
from
that you have
this
to take.
faction, but yeah.
For sure. The next one is Blade of Leaping Bronze. Pick one of the bear's melee weapons, add 2 to the attacks characteristic of that weapon. So the general
Ignorant
that we were
sword.
just talking about with the rune sword, make
7
that 7
attacks.
attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Razor Claws on him, which are the same profile, are that's 6 attacks. So here's, yeah.
Well, that's a
50
mount.
attacks.
It's a mount, so it won't be affected.
Unfortunately.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's a general rule. Unless it specifies that it affects mounts,
It
any
only-
artifact or command trait does not.
It's mostly
Interesting.
because Seraphon used to abuse that on putting the Realm Shaper Blade onto the jaws of a Carnosaur, because we were running out of options at that point.
Well, and you could make a Manticore in Nurgle have Rend 5 on its spear,
What's the point of that?
and
Oh,
Rend
Lordy.
3 on its sword, and Rend 2 and Rend 1 on all of its other attacks. That's what I did with that. Thank you, Relic Blade, and the Nurgle command trait to give Rend to all your stuff. Yeah, so that needed to be fixed.
Gotcha. All right, so next one is Amulet of Haste. Roll a die after the bear finishes a normal move and they ran. On a 2-up, they can still charge.
Nice.
Yeah, that is good.
And the last one, Spirit Armor, or Stone Spirit Armor. Roll the dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to the bear. On a 6, it is negated. In addition, each time the bear is affected by a spell or endless spell, roll a die. On a 5-up, ignore the effects.
Oh yeah, that's good. That'll help.
Does
a
it
lot.
say
Yeah.
on a 5-up you may ignore the effects? Or do
You
you
can
have...
roll the dice on
Okay.
a 5-up, ignore.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can choose to. They did only get 3 spells, though. So the first one's
That's
Drain
normal.
Magic. Yep. Drain Magic, casting value 6. If successfully cast until your next hero phase, subtract 2 from casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for wizards within 12 of the caster.
Okay.
Fairly situational unless you put it through a portal, I guess.
Yeah.
Shield of Light is the next one. Casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick one friendly unit wholly within 12 of the caster until your next hero phase. Roll a die each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to the unit. On a 6, that wound or mortal wound is negated.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't scream to me as much because you're probably taking this faction for the battalion, so you get the 5-up mortal wound shrug anyway.
And they don't stack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'd be good for like an outflank unit, I guess, that's going to run away from your rest of your army. And the last one's Illuminate, casting value 6. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within 12, add the caster invisible to them. Until your next hero phase, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target that unit.
Oh.
So you pick an enemy unit and you go, everyone gets +1 to shoot you.
That is very good.
Yes.
That could be good.
It means you can bring
on-
drakes with you into
Mhm.
this one and make them the Ubermenches they are everywhere else.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was looking at, where was it? Crossbowmen for the Dark Elves in
Mhm.
cities.
That's also fine.
Could benefit from that, because if you're taking the battalion, you're also taking a Hurricanum, so there's a +1 to hit from that. Or I guess you could do this with artillery. Just pick one unit, and then all of your artillery is now hitting on 2s if they're standing next to the Hurricanum.
Well, I mean, you can also just do the standard Iron Drake bomb with the bridge, the Soul Screen
Right.
bridge.
That's always
That's
what
it.
I look for when I'm looking at a city's army is, does an Iron Drake bomb work in this army?
So it's the one thing, with the exception of that, I think clearly Hollow Heart is still the better choice.
Oh, absolutely.
That puts it into play. I still think I like Hollow Heart more, because who cares if I've given +1 if I failed to get my bridge off?
Also, the shoot, what's the one that lets you move really quick at the beginning? We were just talking about this axe, the one that you use Outriders in.
Oh, Tempest Eye, yep.
Tempest Eye is one of the other choices. It gives you a really strong first turn, giving you better saves and letting you get where you need to be. And it lets your Iron Drakes hit and wound on 2s. So, haha.
A
Yeah,
good thing to note,
honestly-
though,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, good thing to note is that the Luminarch and the Hurricanum, if you run them next to each other, they are giving all your Collegiate Arcane guys within 12
+2.
+1 to unbinding and +1 to cast,
And
then
they
the three
innately
gives you
have
additional
+1.
+1 to cast.
Well, and they have an
Yeah.
innate +1 for being the city.
Yep.
I think if I'm gonna take this sub faction though, it's because I want Lumineth Realm Lords.
Yes.
If I'm taking the city, not because I want the other things. For the other things,
Yeah.
I'd still rather Hollow Heart.
Yeah, we've been looking at that as Lumineth players, looking at how this faction benefits from that. A lot of the problems, though, is a lot of the really good rules that Lumineth have gotten.
Are
They're part
faction
of our
only.
factions. Yeah, they're not really baked into the
There
war
are
scroll.
some exceptions, and we're
Sentinels.
going to touch on those, but
Sentinels, 100%, especially with that +1 to hit at range. The ballistas aren't bad with that.
Mm-hmm.
You could throw Teclis in.
Mm-hmm.
wait, can you? Yeah, you can. Why would you?
He's Lumineth Realm Lords. He gives the spell ignore aura. I think he still gets access to his spells.
Yeah, but he loses access to all of the wonderful Lumineth Realm Lord spells.
Or no, I wonder if he still gets his 2, which aren't bad.
And he would be the one casting your +1 to hit spell. You just auto cast it.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, it's good, but there are better ones depending on what you're trying to do.
For sure. I mean,
It will see play.
Yes.
Yeah. Just being able to say, hey, the army's going to have a 5-up shrug on the Luminarch, and the Luminarch's got 11 wounds, that's not bad.
No. Luminarchs are fun. They're most fun in, like, City of Life, where you can drop them out of nowhere and blast 3 lines across an entire army flank, but, you know, they're fun elsewhere.
Yeah, you can make some pretty nasty Free Guild Guard with the sword and boards. They're 4-up save, now they're 5-up shrug. You can use the Light Wizard to make a -1 to hit. Bring a Phoenix, so they're -1 to wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, still.
And bringing the new sword foot guys from Lumineth could also be good, like as a replacement for long swordsman. Or
the Blade Lords? I think long swordsmen are actually better considering you don't get the defensive abilities of Blade Lords.
That's fair.
If you could bring Blade Lords, I would bring a Lore Seeker. That could be what does pretty good in this faction. We could talk about the Lore Seeker.
We are going to
bit,
talk about the Lore
very
Seeker.
Good.
Very
He's
much.
a very good objective stealer.
He's a very good distraction as well. But yeah, like you said, we're going to get to that. Yeah, because we've got a lot to get through. But yeah, we've gotten through all of this minor stuff. Now for the cover art, we've got Teclis and his faction, which is why we brought you aboard, Axe.
Oh yeah, I get to read all the wonderful things and explain all the stuff that the Lumineth community has been explaining to me. I'll just say hi to all the guys in the Lumineth Discord that I'm going to be sharing this video with.
Oh, definitely.
We'll get you guys some good views.
Sweet.
All right. So they didn't change much out of the old stuff.
Well, it's been out for less than a year. I'd be surprised if they did.
So what did change then for the old stuff?
They did add a new ability to all the Scenari. So that's going to be the Caligrave, that's going to be the Cathalar, and that's going to be the Lore Seeker. Deep Thinkers. At the start of your hero phase, you can pick any Scenari wizards to declare that instead of casting, they will contemplate. If you do so in your next hero phase, a Scenari wizard that contemplated can attempt to cast its first spell in the hero phase. It is automatically cast with a roll of 9 that cannot be modified.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that would be good for turn 1 when you're not casting much.
Exactly.
Or
a lot of people are really wanting to do the Total Eclipse. Just bring 2 of these Scenari heroes and just go back and forth doing Total Eclipse all game on 9s, because it is a 9 to cast spell. Or also the Protection of Hysh, which is the bubble of 5-up shrugs, is also a 9.
Is Total Eclipse the extra cost for command abilities?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, joy.
It's been like 2 months since we played.
Ooh. I need to get some more games in. I guess we will this weekend, though.
Yeah.
We'll have to set something up now that I'm not working 16-hour days. Yay!
Woo!
Yeah. We also have like a whole new sub-faction for elves, the wind ones.
They did have stuff for the Venari as well, which is the Lord Regent, which I'm showing up as. His command traits, you might see them, generally not, just because most people are going to take it right city. But the first one is you just get an extra command point at the start of the first battle round. The next one is once per turn you can reroll a hit or a wound roll for an attack made by this general, or a save roll. Third one is if this general's on the battlefield, each time you spend a command point on a 6, you don't. And then his artifacts is he starts with an extra Aether Quartz. That's really good, and that for reasons we'll also get into later. The next one is he can run and still charge in the same turn, which he's okay in combat. He's pretty fast. That could be useful. The third one is the bearer could attempt to dispel an endless spell at the start of your hero phase, same manner as a wizard, and attempt to unbind an enemy spell in the same manner as a wizard. If he's already a wizard, add 1 to the first dispelling and a binding roll you make for each of them that phase.
Okay.
Don't know. I don't think any of the Venari are. No. They are wizards because they have
every single one of your heroes is a wizard. It's just how it works. All right. Yeah. So.
Hurricane gang represent.
Right.
So the thing everybody blows their mind about that requires a little bit more explanation because it doesn't quite blow people's minds enough. When you make a pile-in move with a Hurricane model, it does not have to finish the move at least as close to the nearest enemy model.
Yes.
In addition,
I keep telling people this is an amazing ability, and they keep saying meh.
Mm-hmm.
If only if only this affected city's army, I'd bring nothing but kangaroos.
What all is a Hurricane model?
That's going to be both your Wind Spirits, that's going to be the Wind Mage, and that's going to be the Wind Chargers, the Rue Cav.
Okay, nice.
Mm-hmm.
It has an in addition, though. When you make a pile-in move with the Hurricane model, if it made a charge move in the same turn, it can fly, and it moves an extra 3 inches.
Yep.
The Battalion
it's
makes
insane.
this even better.
It is incredible. It lets you jump over screens. It lets you just bounce back and forth. Why do they keep giving our best abilities that they took away from us to other armies? Because their elves is the answer. I know it gets better. We have to establish first.
Lets you do this twice.
Yeah.
You don't have to fight anymore.
This is Wary Fighter on a unit that flies.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't have to fight anymore.
Yeah. And especially since we have double activation, a lot of people have been talking about bring a lot of min units of these guys, just run them up as blockers. Say like, orcs, you want to charge me? Cool. You squish 1 unit, I pick these 2 units to fight, they run back 6 inches and go neener.
Right, this is Wary Fighter, but
they
better.
Just jump over you and keep going.
Or they jump back 3 inches and go, okay, even if you double turn me, you're still not getting to my stuff.
And I was disappointed but accepted that Stalingrad was too good a list, and now they're giving it to elves, who are already much better than Seraphon ever were. With our old book.
Right.
This is really frustrating, and it's an amazing ability, especially if sometime in the future Hurricanum gets something that's an actual melee beat stick that can act as a really good assassin.
Yeah, the one downside is like none of these guys they can be killy. They're not a hammer unit. They're not an anvil unit. They will not take damage. Most of them have a 5-up save, or I think all of them actually have a 5-up save.
I was just scrolling through a bunch of the Hurricane things, and we'll talk about the rest of it later. I just noticed the Wind Chargers, when they shoot, they're 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 1 damage.
Yes, we were talking about this. Their bow does more rend than their arrows do.
Yes! And it's a 3-inch range.
Yeah,
Their bow is 1/4 the range, or 25% of the range, as the arrow they shoot.
Yeah.
And
I heard in the previous cast, they turn the bow sideways and they yell, kill shot!
Yeah, Ash was talking about how it's like a point-blank range shot, where it's got a lot more punch to it.
See, I was just imagining that they unstring their bow and like,
just beat
it out.
They go full Hawkeye on them. They just hop off and just start wailing.
Nice, yeah. No, I was imagining, like, you know how when you, like, have a straw or something and you can press it on either end and flick it at someone?
Yes.
Like, I was just assuming they do that while holding onto the bowstring.
I love that mental image.
Oh, man.
No, I think it's meant to represent they like riding super close by and firing into the chinks of the armor.
No, I think you're 100% right. That makes sense now, and I'm okay with it.
It's why they only get 1 attack instead of 2, because they're taking extra care. When you look at it like that, it's very flavorful. It's very
Yep.
Yep.
The unit champion also makes that unit very appealing to run MSU because he adds one to the attacks of the bow, so that's combat and shooting.
Mm.
Oh, you're right. Hadn't thought of that.
But let's knock out the rest of the command traits and artifacts of Hurricane real quick, and then so much fun stuff.
Dig into the war scrolls.
Yep, we're gonna be here for a
Command
while.
traits, you might not see them that often, but if you do, Grand Wind Charger replaces the Wind Wheel ability on the Wind Mage, which basically means if you start a Wind Charger unit wholly within, I believe it's 12 of a Wind Mage, they get an extra bit of movement. They go to movement 16 and can fly.
Okay.
It's wholly within 6 of this model, so it changes that ability to be wholly within 24 of this model. That's what the command ability
Oh
does.
wow. Yep. So
that's
these
not bad.
guys fly. They're almost as fast as a fully buffed shoot cabbage. What are they called? The orc big monsters.
Yes.
Maw crushers.
Maw
Maw
Crusher.
Crusher.
Yep. They're not quite up there with the full buffed Rogue Idol for Bone Splitters,
Mm-hmm.
but
I mean, 36 and fly is 36 and fly.
uh-huh.
Well, it's 16 and fly for the Wind Charger units is what it changes to, rather than their 14-inch normal move. So the second command ability is Swift. It adds 3 inches to the general's move characteristic. Not as good as the Alarith one that's just plus 3 wounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, plus
And
3?
the last one
Man, that...
The last one is Lore Master, which if is a wizard, they know an extra spell from Lore of the Winds. Really good.
Yeah, because Lord of the Winds is really good. But
that's if you don't run a great city, which I don't see anyone doing unless you're playing for fun.
Yeah, that's fair. The thing is, the general gets plus 3 wounds. They keep making that better, and people still don't take it. It used to be...
It's boring.
It's boring and not very good. Because
it would be good if it wasn't locked to you don't get to take a city if you do this.
Right.
And it would be good if you could take it on someone other than the mage. Because you could only put that on the stone mage. Which that's not bad on.
But that's a generic ability that everyone gets, but it used to be you get another wound, and it was all, what's the point of that? And then it was all, you get another 2 wounds, and it was all, no, still no, it's all 3 wounds, 3 wounds! Eventually it's going to be double wound characteristics, and people will finally take it seriously.
Oh, double wounds? I'll always take that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a 32 wound general on Griffin. Woo!
Oh, that would be incredible. I'd love that.
Yeah, Sons of Behemoth, get back.
I mean, it wouldn't save poor giants. They'd still be awful, but yeah.
70 wounds!
70 wounds! Bring it! And we're all, okay, we'll bring it, and youth still dies in 1 turn, because anything can kill that. Oh,
the artifacts, though, I'm running one of these artifacts, and I think this artifact is nuts. It's the Wind Blast Fan. Once per battle, start of the enemy movement phase. Pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer. That unit must make a normal move and must retreat.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is nuts.
As cool as...
Go for it, Wizard.
I feel like, while I'm not saying that artifact is not amazing, one, your opponent knows you have it, so they can position themselves where they might not care if they retreat. What it's amazing against is what Lumineth is already good against. Armies whose only viable option is combat.
I see it as really good against KO and Seraphon, because we can build a 2-drop army list, so we're going first. The guy that this is going to beat on is in a 16-inch move with fly. We can double that to 36 with a spell. You fly this guy up, you tag a KO boat. In my trick, I pair him with Severus to make sure that he lives. We go on to KO's turn. I tell KO boat they fall back. This guy flies. KO boat with fly, or tagged by someone with fly that falls back, doesn't get to shoot.
Okay.
That is huge. Do that to a skink unit. Run up and say, hey, this skink unit, you have to fall back. Therefore, you're not shooting me this turn.
Depends.
When do you use it?
At the start of your movement phase.
At the start of my movement phase?
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
yeah.
If you're in if you're in Sotek, you get to shoot anyway, and if you're, and we have more than one skink unit, so.
That is true. Oh, they have fallback and shoot?
Yeah, huh?
Okay.
In Sotek, you have a command ability that makes them shoot.
Okay.
So
that does make you spend a command ability, though.
we have
That is something, please.
tons of those. That's our entire army's gimmick. It's good.
We do, but I never roll them. So this is just a side complaint that I gotta throw in. Last event I went to, I rolled like 18 dice over the course of a game to try and get command points, and I got 2.
Oh no.
I never get them.
Dice games are dice games.
Yeah, the fact that it's command ability is also huge because this is the faction that can double the cost of that. Yep. So you might not have that many command points turn 1.
Yep.
I mean, we're also
that being said, I'll continue along with my point. It is better that it happens at the start of your opponent's movement phase.
Yep.
But it's your opponent's turn, which means anything that they have that happens at the start, they get to do first.
Like teleporting.
Teleporting happens at the end.
Oh,
some
right.
things could teleport at the start. The other issue, though, is...
a lot of spells go off in the hero phase that allow teleports, is the thing.
Yep. And they know who has it, and they know how to position. I think it's one of the things that will be very punishing against bad players. But I feel like good players... Because it doesn't say they have to use the entirety of their movement. It says they have to make a normal movement in retreat. So you have to be in combat with them, which means you have to survive through combat. And you if you do this to Seraphon, what I'm pretty sure is going to happen is I'm going to blow you up with spells, and we're not going to be in combat anymore.
Yep, that would be my one concern with it. Is that you'd blow me up with spells. That would just be something that I just have to either, 1, just be prepared for, or 2, try to fight you on the dispels, which Illuminate are one of the armies that are positioned to potentially do that.
Yeah, I think it becomes a lot harder without Teclis, though.
Yeah. Well, Teclis doesn't get as many dispel buffs. He just has that aura of, I ignore your spell, which is huge.
Hey, I'm in the middle of a meeting. Do you mind if I call you back?
So we can move on to the other artifact real quick. It's the Windstone. Once per battle in your shooting phase, pick an enemy unit within 18 of the bearer and visible to them. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 to 4, suffer 3 mortal wounds. On a 5 up, you take d6.
That's pretty awesome. It's once per battle?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's not bad if you're running him in like a Teclis list against, say, Seraphon, and you put double move on him and he just flies up to nuke whatever Skink Priest didn't get hit by Teclis.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Flat 3 mortal wounds is nothing to shake a stick at. And the last one is buffering Aspergillium. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to the bearer. On a 5 up, it is negated. It's not bad. He only has a 5 up save, but he does have other durability buffs, like slight ones against shooting, that we can talk about later. And Lumineth also have an endless spell that can help with that.
And these are going on... This is all for the wind bow guy, right?
All for the Wind Mage, the monkey
Wind
cloud
Mage.
guy.
Okay, nice. Sun Wukong.
Yeah.
The spell lore. The thing Teclis is going to be running. There's quite a there's a couple of fun ones in here.
More than a couple.
Freezing Squall. Casting value 5. Pick an enemy unit within 12 to the caster invisible. The unit cannot run. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's why you bring Lightning Vortex.
That's true.
So that's worth 100 points.
There's a lot of reasons you bring Lightning Vortex. Next
up, Howling Gale. Warp cast value of 7, or casting value. I'm thinking warp charge from 40k. Pick an enemy unit within 12 of the caster invisible. The unit cannot use or benefit from command abilities until your next hero phase.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good. A lot of the game nowadays is based off
what does it go off on?
It goes off on a 7.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Slap that on a skink unit. Oh, hi, skinks. You don't get your fall back and run away from me and shoot me.
Yeah.
Granted. I think it's
or
more...
+1 to hit.
Yeah.
Like stopping the skink priest +1 to hit.
No running, or I guess run and shoot is a prayer.
Yeah, that's a prayer. But +1 to hit, you want to use the command point on that. It's a massive throughput to damage, and now you can't.
What's the range on it?
It is within 12. It's all of these are fairly short range.
Yeah, that's a lot less impressive.
But on Teclis,
It's not
through a
bad.
spell portal, you can get it
Yeah.
places.
Like, I think it would be better on things like shooting twice snakes, or or fighting twice orcs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
You can
because
do
those
this.
guys want to be in your face, and you just say no.
Yes.
Imagine someone rocks up with a 15-man unit of the Hearthguard Berserkers from,
Yep. And you stop them.
and you say, well, that, and you also say, hey, you don't get to ignore Battle Shock on them. By the way, here's a Cathalar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and your
Huh.
Hearthguard, so you killed 6 of my Sentinels. So now you're taking a battle shock.
And
Yeah.
Teclis already made you -3 because I gave you a -1 from Quartz and -2 from my
Yeah.
other spell.
And as long as they're not Hermdar or near an objective, that's going to eviscerate that unit.
Mm-hmm. The next one is Guiding Flurries. It's casting value of 7. Pick a Lumineth Realmlord's unit armed with missile weapons, wholly within 12 of the caster, and visible. Then say if the spell lofts the missiles or directs them. If it lofts them, add 6 inches to the range of missile weapons in that unit. If it
Yep.
directs them, add 1 to hit rolls.
Both are very good.
That's good.
Yeah.
20
Okay.
Sentinels. We got a 36-inch range base now
Okay, that happens on a what? On a 7?
on a 7.
Ah.
Like, they're not the easiest thing in the world to get off, but Lumineth have a lot
Yeah,
of...
no, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's really good.
But
Man.
it also,
On top
for
of
the
that,
Sentinels,
they don't
it
even
doesn't
have.
say which of their profiles it specifically buffs. So you could do this plus 6-inch range to the 18-inch one that's the better profile.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, it's so versatile. It lets you use it on the long range one if you want.
And not only that,
It
they
lets
don't even
you
have
give
to be
+1 to
visible.
hit on the long range one if you need. It lets you make the better shorter range profile have like it's just so versatile. That's amazing.
Yep, and they don't even have to be visible because one of your mages can see people who are behind walls and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, the Sentinels can just target people out of line of sight.
Yep.
Take your new Huracan units that have 12-inch range and turn them into 18-inch range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's 1 to hit, so they're 2s and 3s.
Yeah, that's crazy good.
Next one's Calming Zephyr, casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick a Lumineth Realmlord's unit wholly within 18 of the caster and visible, heal D3 wounds. In addition, they don't have to take Battle Shock.
Oh, okay. The Battle Shock's not the bad. Is bleh. You're already very resistant to Battle Shock with Cathcom others, but it's not bad. It's better than our healing spell.
Yeah. Celestial Apotheosis.
Yeah, 1. You get to heal 1.
And -1 bravery.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teclis heal D3 wounds. Go burn. Next one is Burning Simone. I think you'll definitely see this one a little bit. Casting value 6. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within 12 of the caster and visible. Roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in the unit. For each 6, it suffers a mortal wound. If the casting value was 10 or more, for each 5 up, it's a mortal wound. High Teclis.
Yep. I mean,
I see you brought 40.
It's a standard Heartbreaker.
They needed one.
We got that. Yeah.
Man.
And the last one's a teleport.
It's really nice to
casting
be spoiled
value
for
8.
choice.
The last one's a teleport?
Yes.
Last one, casting value 8. Pick a Lumineth Realmlord's unit wholly within 12 of the caster invisible. Remove them from the battlefield and send them up anywhere within 9, or anywhere outside of 9. It cannot move in the next movement phase.
Wholly within 12 of the caster?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a lot of people who screw themselves over on that. Yep. I think it's good.
They're gonna bork themselves out of 12 inches and go.
But I'm going to see that happen a lot. I know it.
You're probably gonna watch me do it one time this weekend and then slam my head against the wall.
Yeah, I'm even expecting to see it at good tables. Like wholly within 12 on 32s is easier said than done.
Round 3 against our buddy Gio, who's running KO, and I'm like, I want to teleport 20 archers to get in range to shoot you. Oh, but one guy's not quite in.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. You run big units on 32mm bases. Wholly within 12 is a big ask, even for Teclis.
I don't know. We used to have to do that with warriors and the Astrolith Bearer. It's not impossible.
Yeah, but we were an army that had to play perfectly to win.
I know.
What's having to play a little bit more perfect?
granted. Oh man. So yeah, that is the wind spell, wind lore. It's incredible.
Yeah, Teclis gets all of those, so that's a huge soft buff to Teclis.
Yeah, yes.
Oh man.
Which is why I'm kind of like hesitant that I'm not running him this weekend, but I want to try my speed list, which I might run through that list at the end of the podcast if we got time. So I might hurry up
If
and
not,
run through this real quick.
We can always. That's right. You guys have a tournament coming up. We could just meet next week and ask how it went.
Yeah, I
For
was
sure.
thinking we should definitely do like a follow-up episode.
For sure.
Yep.
All right, so
Sounds like
let's
a
talk
plan.
about the terrain piece a little bit.
Oh,
'Cause this one's
Yes.
cool.
that is a thing, isn't it?
It's free.
Mhm.
It's better than the Seraphon one because it gets deployed after we know deployment zones.
Yes.
Ugh.
It can be garrisoned by a single wizard or a single hero that's not a monster.
So no Teclis.
Once per turn, you can reroll one casting, unbelling, or casting, unbinding, or dispelling. I can speak.
Cool. That's one of our command
for-
abilities.
It's one of our
For
artifacts.
Realm hero within 12. That's just if you have it, just within 12, reroll one of those.
No, it's Dracothian's Tell command ability.
You're right.
And it's also an artifact.
You're right. It's a bit of both.
And then in the second battle round, in the hero phase, if it's garrisoned, the Shrine Guardian can say it will channel the Shrine's power. If you do, add 12 inches to the range of that ability. So it'll be 24
cool.
inches. And the last one is for the Shrine Guardian. Once per turn, you can use a command ability with this terrain features Shrine Guardian without a command point being spent.
Okay.
That's pretty good. If you're running Iliathia, that's really good because Iliathia goes, I'm going to pick one of my Wardens or Sentinels or the Dawn Riders, any of the Venari units, and then another Venari unit within 3 of them also gets the same command ability without spending the command point. So that's just extra free.
Mhm.
It's not bad. It's a huge piece, but we
yeah.
need an FAQ on it because it's levitating up. You can run models underneath it, and we don't know how that works with garrisons. So
Yeah.
So there's enough rules as written, I would say now, to know exactly how that works. That model counts as an enemy model when it's garrisoned. You cannot overlap the base of an enemy model, so you can't get under it.
okay, yeah, because that raises the question of like, is the base the whole like area of the
Yes.
thing, or is it the part that is touching the table?
Touches
That
wizard.
entire model is an enemy model. So whatever's touching the table, that's the footprint for that model. So they can't occupy that.
The next question would be like, if it was unoccupied and there was people that moved up under it, and then someone moved the Shrine Guardian into that, what happens to the guys that were
They cannot move into it.
Yeah.
You cannot garrison if an enemy unit is already within 3 inches of that terrain piece.
Yep.
So you would be denied from garrisoning if that happened.
Okay,
Yep.
that is fair.
Garrisons
Now,
are.
I agree. That needs a clarifying designer's note. But
Yes.
I think
But
it's
knowing
already
GW,
covered
they'll
in the
say
rules.
something completely different and make it worse.
That's true.
It's
Great Nation time.
Oh man.
But
Ooh.
if GW is listening to this, they should explain it exactly like I did.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
explain it exactly.
Oh man.
Now,
Great
it
Nation.
is set up in your deployment zone, so it's like, that might not come up, but yeah, Great Nation. Ooh, Alumnia. I have this as my phone background because someone did some wonderful art for this, and I will
Nice.
probably try to tag them in the credits of this video when it comes up.
You should have sent it to me. I could have put it up on screen.
I will send it to you afterwards.
We'll have it for
Post-editing.
next week.
Nice.
So, its ability, claim the field. After armies are set up, but before the first battle round begins, up to 3 Alumnia, Venari, or Sonari units can make a normal move but cannot run.
Nice.
Okay.
Real good. I
Yeah.
immediately see that as Sentinels. You decided to deploy out of range of my Sentinels? Well, muhahaha.
Okay, I hear your Sentinels, and I raise you Wind Chargers, who have a 14-inch movement.
Yeah.
But they are not Venari or Sonari. This is only going to work on
Oh.
This is only going to work on Dawn Riders, on Wardens, on Sentinels, on the new Bladelords. It'll work on the Ballista, and most of the heroes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fair.
Oh man, your book is going to be a nightmare of keyword soup.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of keyword soup. It's not as bad as cities.
No, no, nothing's as bad as cities.
The command traits kind of poo. Start of the combat phase, pick an enemy unit within 3 of the general invisible on a 2-up, take a mortal wound. You get
Ew.
laser eyes,
That's more than a little poo.
and you have to take it.
Yep. Oh well. That's the downside to these things.
Command ability is huge. Seize the moment. Use a command ability in your charge phase. If you do so, pick a friendly Alumnia unit that has ran this turn. It can still charge.
Okay. Yeah.
Run in charge.
Would you ever take this over Syar?
I'm taking it this weekend because in a lot of my games, I run into opponents will deploy at the very back of the board to stay outside of range of my Sentinels, even after they move, even after they double move potentially. So giving me an extra 6-inch range basically on all my Sentinels before we even get to teleports.
Yeah, no, movement is king. But man, that double Aether Quartz?
That is true. For me, it's between those two. It's like, do you want the mobility of Alumnia or do you want the staying power of Syar? And I'm going to try the mobility game. And see how that works for me. Because I think it has a lot of potential, especially against like our top end matches, where you guys don't have to stay within range of us. You can play the edge of the field and then move out. This lets us do the same thing now.
Yeah.
So say if Zinch is going first, you can play that. You can stay out of range of them more while not giving up as much board position.
Okay.
And the artifact's not bad. It's a waystone. Once per battle in your movements phase, instead of making a normal move for the bear, you can pick a point on the battlefield within 12 inches. If you do, remove the bear from the battlefield and set him up again within 1 inch of that point, more than 3 inches away from enemies.
Yeah,
that's good. This to me says put it on a Cathalar. For that extra little bit of oomph when you need them somewhere that they can't quite get.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can put that on. Like, just being able to teleport hero support to where it's needed is fantastic. Like, Cathkalar is going to be good.
And it's more than 12 inches even, technically, because it's the point is set up within 12 of them, and then they have to be set up within an inch of that point. So it's more than a flat 6-inch run even. But it is once per game.
Yeah.
I mean, it also gets them out of combat if they're called.
Time will tell how well it goes.
Yeah. I'm going to try Alumnia. I think it has a lot of potential. It really solves a lot of the movement problems with this army. The fact that we don't get to run when we're in Shining Company. So now Wardens can move potentially. If you put the double move spell on them, 18 inches. If you get them out of Shining Company, they can run a flat 6, and now they can charge too.
Yep.
Do this on Dawn Riders, 14-inch move pregame. Double move 28 inches. Dawn Riders are going to get anywhere on the table. It has a lot of potential. But I think people are going to miss Syar for both the double quartz and their command ability, which just neuters a hero.
Yes.
Well, like I said, time will tell. Next week we'll have to go over how it went.
Oh, yeah. Next one, I'm not so hot on the nation, but a lot of people are. It's Helon. The abilities, Gala Killing Shafts, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of missile weapons used by Helon models that are within 3 inches of an enemy unit.
Okay, so it's a heavy melee type build?
You want to run a lot of shooting things, but you want to get them into combat.
Odd.
Yeah.
Shoot cavalry.
It's odd.
Oh, that's right. You do have those guys.
The Wind Chargers will get up to 3 attacks, 4 on the Sergeant.
The thing is, you charge after you shoot, they'd have to survive in combat until the next turn.
Or in your enemy's turn, you could potentially pile into them.
Because you pile in 3 extra inches, and you don't care if you pile in closer. And
yeah, that's finicky. Fair enough.
There's some play with this.
Yes.
I can see how you would string them and reduce pile in. And,
The command ability, you have to take it. It's once per battle. You can reroll a run roll, a charge roll, and a casting roll. 1 of each.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay, so not the worst.
A free reroll cast, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, and same for run and charge isn't bad. Like that basically says get 2 dedicated command points and re-roll a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm never a
The
fan
command
of once per
ability?
battle abilities, but yeah, it's not the worst one
Yeah,
I've seen.
there's a lot of once per battle abilities in
Yeah.
Illuminate now, but they're all pretty powerful. So if you know how to use them right,
Mm-hmm.
you can definitely do stuff. Command ability is Gone Like the Wind.
Mm-hmm.
Good book. You could use this command ability at the end of the combat phase. If you do so, pick a friendly Helon unit that fought in this phase and is wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Helon hero. That unit can make a normal move, but cannot run. It can retreat.
So, more lookout, sir. Sorry, more
Mm-hmm.
wary fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you can do this on Sentinels
Yeah.
if you want, or a lot of stuff. That offers up a lot of potentials.
I think that's why this one's getting the attention.
Mm-hmm. I definitely see why people like it. I'm not as huge on it, but I'm interested to see people do well with it and prove me wrong.
Fair enough. Like I said, time will tell.
The artifact is also pretty good. There's a lot of good stuff in this one. Once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, you pick an enemy unit within 3 of the bear. If you do so, subtract 1 from hit and wound rolls for attacks by that unit till the end of the phase.
That's a great defense ability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, if you get Wardens behind or in front of Veilnor, so he has his -1 to hit aura, and then you do that,
Well,
that's -3 to hit on something. And
Your
-1 to
army
move?
has a lot of minuses to hit. I was just by casual glancing. You guys can put together -4 to hit pretty easily.
That requires some finicky, but we can.
Doesn't
lot of
even
Yeah,
the
require,
between the
minus 1 to hit abilities.
ballistas and
doesn't even require
Yeah.
all that much finicky, but yeah.
This is a more defensive one. The other ones are actually more offense, and we'll get into that because it only lasts on your turn.
oh,
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, less useful.
Yeah, that's Helon. Additionally, it says it in the back of the book. Helon makes the Windrunner units battle line.
Oh,
So this is your wind.
that right there is why people are excited about Helon.
Mm-hmm.
Because battle
You can
line
definitely make
brews
some
are
fun
great.
stuff with that.
All right, moving on to the units.
For sure. So I flip through all that stuff. Oh, next up is the battalions. So
Oh,
I've
that's
mentioned
right.
Hurricane
So
Temple
much stuff.
Battalion a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is why. You run Severus, Lord of the Seven Winds, awesome name, or a Hurricane Spirit of the Wind. Severus is a hero. The other one is not. He's just an other. Neither of them
okay,
are
he's like
behemoths
the
either.
Trog boss and the Trog.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, yeah.
Gotcha.
You have to take 1 Wind Mage and 1 to 3 units of Wind Chargers.
Okay.
The fun part. If a unit from this battalion is wholly within 12 inches from a hero of the same battalion at the start of the combat phase, models in this unit count as having made a charge move in the same turn.
So they can pile.
Yep.
So at the start of my combat phase, I can pile around. At the start of your combat phase, I can pile around. Even if you haven't charged me whatsoever, I can stand 6 inches outside of your unit next to my character and go, hey, your unit is now fought. I'm going to pile in and fight you on your turn.
What's the aura for how close they have to be to that hero?
Within 12 inches, or wholly within 12.
Which for is it 3 or 5 man cav?
It's 5-man.
It's not hard for 5 man
So,
cav.
yeah, but to do that, they have to keep a 5 wound or 10 wound 5+ save hero alive.
Yeah, it either has to be the Wind Mage or Severus, because Severus is also a hero. So Severus, in addition to all of his other movement shenanigans we get into later, gets to do this himself. He gets an extra 6-inch runaway in everyone's combat phase.
Yeah, but I mean the meta right is shooting. Like I'm just not seeing Severus staying alive.
He could, because he can run away pretty far. He can run away like 18 inches in anyone at the end of anyone's phases. Yeah.
But like, if you're doing that, are you still within 12 of the thing you care about? Like, I'm not saying it's not good.
It's gonna be a
just
dance.
don't exactly. Like, and I like that. Like, I like that there's opponent play interact with it. And I definitely think it's good. Like, I think it's worth running. I'm just that's 5+ saves a pretty big weakness.
Well, he also has a 5 up after save.
Yep. He does.
Yeah, but now you're a 4+ save, which in this meta is mache.
Well, he also has a 5-up Feel No Pain. He has a 5-up Shred
Ward.
built in.
Yeah, it's a 5++.
Oh, okay.
So
And he
he's
can
not
stand.
as fragile as he at first looks.
He is also not a behemoth, so he can stand and cover for a 3-up.
Yeah, and he'll get look out, sir.
Yep.
Yep. Plus, like if you use judicial uses of different abilities or the ballista, or if you drop shoot Geminids, you have ways of protecting him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this
And he's
army
also
can
10 wounds.
easily get to -2, -3.
I think in shooting matches, what you're more going to see Severus used for is he is going to be your sacrifice piece almost. Because since he can move so far, you can run up and tag something and say, yeah, you're going to shoot, but you have to shoot me first. I might not be the easiest thing in this army to kill. I might be a little easier than some, but you have to kill me first and not the important thing sitting on an objective or Teclis or whatever else you're running him with.
Or the lore keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh lord, we're gonna get to him.
Next battalion is the Starshard Battery. So that's the Caligrave. That's Mr. Wavy the Pen on the big fancy shields. And 3 to 5 units of the ballista. Minimum 3 of the ballistas. What it
How
does
many points are those
is
ballistas?
It's 100 and
points
something.
each.
Yeah.
Flat 100 each.
Oh, that's crazy good.
Yep.
They're not bad. They're not better than Sentinels, but they're not bad. And we'll get
Well, they
into
have a
why
different
on
job to Sentinels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What the battalion does for them is while they're within 3 inches of other ballistas from the same battalion, they have a lantern ability that gives them a 6-up shrug. This upgrades it to a 5-up wound or mortal wound negation.
Oh, that's
In addition,
pretty
if they don't move, they get +1 to their attacks characteristic on their bolts. So it brings them up to 3 shots.
3 attacks. Threes and threes.
That's
and
what the
2d2.
lantern does at base. Does the battalion do it again? Because that would make it a 4-shot unit.
No, the unit itself does not get +1 shot. It gets +1 to hit. So it'll be 3 shots, 2s
It
and
says,
3s,
in
-2
addition,
for the
add
3.
1 to the attacks characteristic of this used star troll bolts if it has not moved this same turn.
So 4 shots.
Yeah, that's because it might need clarification. It might be that the app is just being screwy because the app is often very screwy.
Yeah, it could just be change it to a 5-up, and it still does the add 1 to attack characteristics.
Yeah.
No, the unit itself does not have the additional shot one. I'm looking at it right now. We can just read that just so everybody knows. So it has
Wording lanterns. Roll a dice each time you allocate wound or mortal wound. On a 6-up, it is negated. In addition, add 1 to attacks characteristic of this unit's Starshard bolts if it not made a move. Yeah, this looks like the app is.
That is true. Oh, yep, that is true. So you would get up to 4 shots.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, when I first saw these guys, I'm like, this is really crap because it's a 2/3/3 -2 D3, and then I looked at its abilities and
it's a 30-inch salamander.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the mortal wounds.
It's cheaper than a salamander. I forgot about that.
And it's 30 inches.
It gets up to 2s and 3s by an odd way. It has to pick a friendly Realm Lord's unit within 24, and then that hero picks an enemy unit within 24, and the ballistas get +1 to hit that unit.
Yeah, so, wait, why are... this is frustrating for entirely separate reasons. This is significantly better than our salamanders, and people are... And, yeah. Okay, moving on.
Additionally, the ballistas are not war machines.
They are not, no. They aren't artillery.
And the battalion in that itself is 100 points. The Hurricane is 180 points for that battalion, so it's pretty pricey, but shenanigans.
Yep. But since we talked about everything in the ballista, let's just cover the last ability. Once per game, you can, if you hit, not if you wound or damage an enemy with any of these attacks, it's a -1 to hit.
Until the end of the turn. So the turn that you shoot them. So if you're planning on charging someone with, say, Dawn Riders, that would be a good time to pop that. So that even though the Dawn Riders aren't in Shining Company anymore, they're still going to be -1 to hit. It could see some use.
Yep. So, a lot of good stuff on this guy. And he's cheap.
Yeah, it's not bad for the points. The last one is the Bladelord Host, so that's going to be your new fancy sword bodyguard boys. You have to take 1 Cenari or Venari hero and 2 to 3 units of the Blade Lords. and it lets you reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by units from this battalion that are the target of enemy unit that is made to charge. So if you get charged, you reroll ones.
Yeah.
It,
Okay.
It's okay. Their one combat form automatically hits, so you're just going to do it on the sweep. So say if goblins charge you, sure.
Yeah.
If skinks charge you, well, why would they?
Yeah. No. I've done it precisely once and it didn't work out. It should have, but dice game. Oh well.
I've done it 3 times, and I did just as much damage in combat as I did shooting.
Yeah, that's what's supposed to happen, but it doesn't.
I think you're going to see Blade Lords taken if your meta's very heavily Seraphon, which we'll get into later. But they do fairly well against skinks, and if you bring them in Alumnia, they can get really far up the board.
Mm-hmm.
18 inches
Yeah.
plus 6-inch advance plus charge.
They're horde clears. They're the same as Croxagore, only all of their weapons are moonhammers.
Then we get on to the units. So we got
Yay!
Lyrior Ulthral. Had some practice with these. He's 6 wounds, 16-inch move, 3 up save base, 9 bravery. His lance is a sad pokey stick, 18-inch
Yeah.
range, 1 attack, 2s and 2s, -2 for D3. That's the ranged profile, so it's not terrible. The melee
melee's the same,
profile
only
is also 1 attack
it's only 3 inches.
for the same thing.
What an unfortunate profile for an awesome weapon.
Yeah, I mean, it does go up to flat 3 damage against demons. So, or chaos, it has to have the chaos and demon keywords. So, not you,
Yep.
Starborn.
But he also gets his Regent Sword.
Excuse me.
Yep, so that is 1-inch reach, 5 attacks, 2s and 3s, -1 for 1. And the Horns and Claws on the mount, 4 attacks, 3s and 4s, no random 1 damage.
Yeah, it's a floofy animal. It doesn't do all that much damage.
It's okay. It can do some stuff. He has the Purest Aether Quartz, so
Which is
he's
the good
always
bit.
-1 to be hit, and add 1 to casting rolls with his built-in War Scroll spell. As long as he has any Aether Quartz, if he runs out of Aether Quartz, this ability goes away.
Mm-hmm. He's got Sun Metal Weapons and Voice of Tyrion, which is Tyrion isn't in your army. You get a command point on a 2+.
Yep, if Teclis is not a part of your army.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not bad.
Let's see. His magic is Greater Power of Hish, yeah?
Yep, it's basically the same power of Hish spell that all our units get. It goes off on a 7, but he picks D3 friendly units, wholly within 18, to get the benefits of it.
Oh, good
Which is huge, because it's a
Yeah.
different name, which means whoever you fell it on, now you cast this and give it to him anyways.
Yep,
Mhm.
or you do this guy first, and then all of those frontline units can start casting endless spells.
Oh, dear. Yep.
Our Wardens are going to have the 5 of Invona, and here comes Geminids.
Yeah. The Lord Regent is the same as him, only without Demon's Bane. Oh, no.
Yeah, so he loses a little bit of that. He doesn't get the Voice of Tyrion, but he keeps the rest of it. This guy is fantastic. A lot of people swear by this guy. I'm tempted to run him. Mostly, he's a fast hero. He hits 14
He
inch
moves
move.
16. Yeah.
Lirio moves 16. This guy moves 14. But still.
And he's so pretty.
hero.
Why are you so pretty? It's elves. Of course they'll be pretty.
A lot of people like him in Psyar, so you get the double quartz, so you get to keep the Purest Aether Quartz for the +/-1 to hit and +1 to cast. And also the Shutdown Heroes command ability on him. I just keep thinking of running up to Snake Marathi and just saying, no, you don't get to fight with your 400-point model.
600, but yeah.
Important note for
Gordrak or Stonehorn, Frostlord on Stonehorn, or War Stompa, Sons of Behemoth.
No one cares about giants.
Important note: all the named characters are under Ymetrica, but they don't take away the city status if you include them in a not Ymetrica army. It's mostly just so like they don't get any of the benefits from that city. They didn't need it. It's fine. It's a little sad that everybody's Ymetrica, but it's like 40k for Space Marines. Everybody's an Ultramarine almost. They're getting better at that though. The next one is the Banner Blade. He's
a thing.
He's 5
He's
wounds.
good.
Save.
Is he? Really?
He adds 1 of the bravery characteristic of friendly realm lords that are wholly within 18. Add 3 instead if the banner blade is within 3 inches of an enemy unit.
Which is not where you want him.
But keep going.
In addition, once per battle, at the start of any phase, you can say this model will draw on the power of the world banner. If you do so, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 18 of the model. If the roll is equal to or less than the number of the current battle round, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds and -1 to hit until the end of the phase.
Oh,
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like the turn counter because, hey, turn 3 when most of the fighting's happening, I have to roll
a 2 or a
equal
1.
to or less. So 3 up.
So it's once a battle, 50% chance.
Or 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I do something.
And how much is he? He's like 120, isn't he?
He is 100 points, I believe. Let me double check. Banner Blade, 110.
Yeah, so a lot of dice game can happen with this guy, which is why I don't like it. The ability looks awesome, and I don't know if it was more than once per battle, or if you didn't have to roll a dice that was that weighted against you.
Yeah, it's a once per battle, so not only do you have to wait for like turn 3 for it to be a 50-50 chance, it's once per however many units are nearby.
And
so like if you're running into a lot of
to get
MSU,
-1 to hit in
maybe?
this army.
So it's within 18. It's -1 to hit rolls. It's D3 mortal wounds. I don't know. I like it. Like turn 3 and 4 are normally the most important turn, unless one player is significantly better than the other.
I see there's a lot of turn 2 and 3, at least that I've seen anyway, is where it'll matter.
To me, that's because some player royally messed up.
True.
Like,
there's also a lot of fast stuff around nowadays, especially if you get upwards of the tables.
Oh, for sure. But even then, like any of the games that I've had, if I've won turn 1 or 2, unless it's just I seriously outclass my opponent with my battle tome, it's because they made a glaring mistake.
I guess this could work because it does say at the start of any phase. So
exactly.
Like at the start of the enemy shooting phase, you go bam, you might be -1 to hit.
Yep. And you like just that flexibility, even though it's so inflexible elsewhere.
Yep.
I don't know. I like it. It means your opponent has to kill this 3+ save model or risk on a 50-50 chance that a lot of their army doesn't get to work on turn 4, turn 3.
I feel like there's other things in the battle tome that are better points spent on. Like, I don't think he is a bad model. I think there's other things that kind of outshine him. Who knows? Maybe we'll see this guy eventually.
I'm in the same camp, but who knows?
I think it's cool in AoE.
But you can give him the teleport artifact, right?
The teleport 12 inches? Yeah, you could. When does that go off? Is that in your movement phase? I think it is. In your movement phase, yeah.
Yeah, so it takes
so you teleport him there, you wait around on your enemy's shooting phase, you pop it. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a decent tech.
Let's see. I've seen some people try him recently that weren't too impressed, but we'll see. If battles start lasting longer, I think you'll definitely see him.
Alrighty, let's see. We already went over the ballistas.
Yep. Bladelords.
Bladelords. Oh, poor Bladelords.
Somewhat disappointing, but they got a use.
Mostly because they've got such a confusing war scroll. They're the only unit in your army that doesn't get Sunmetal Great Blades, Sunmetal weapons, despite having Sunmetal Great Blades.
Mm-hmm. Some of our unit leaders have that too. They call them like the special weapon, but it's like the generic one's kind of better.
Mm-hmm. And I understand why Sunmetal Great Blade on their Flurry of Blows profile would be horrifying, but that seems
all of them
like a failure design.
If all of them could take the Sergeant's weapon, that would be cool. They're 6 move, 4 up save, 2 wounds, bravery 7. Their 2 strikes are...
How many come in a unit? Is it 5?
5 per 120.
Okay.
5 of them, 2 wounds, 4 save. Bravery 7, move 6. They're guard, only not crap.
Yeah, they're better guard.
Yep.
Yeah, they're perfect strike. I see good if you're running into Bone Reapers, 2-inch range, 1 attack. Auto hits, choose to wound, -2. Hey, Bone Reapers, take that 6-up rerolling save.
Also, auto hitting in a meta with a lot of negatives to hit
Mm-hmm.
is pretty solid.
I mean, it's only
Not
5
bad.
attacks, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Or
1
10
damage.
10 unit.
yeah, they
I think
can,
it was
like
18.
a unit of 10 of these can do almost 100 attacks if going into a blob, but
Mhm.
Oh yeah, the flurry of blows, that 2-inch range. Your attacks are the number of guys that are within 2 inches, 3s and 3s, no round 1 damage.
Mhm.
This is why I don't think that they have Sun Metal. I think the general consensus is late in development. They looked at that and went, no, that's going to be way too good with Sun Metal. Let's take that out. Maybe in the FAQ they added back. Maybe I'd take an extra 20 points per 5 for this.
Yeah, to deal like 30 mortal wounds.
Sure, I'll pay an extra 40 points per 5 for that. Potentially, like a good player, like I'd expect you guys to space out all of your guys like 1 inch, but that's also going to take
Sure,
forever. So maybe that's an
but
advantage in a tournament. If you're going up against skinks, bring these guys and bring a chess clock.
yeah, but you can also take the one sub faction that lets you pile in with another unit, like it was a Huracan unit, and do that with these guys and negate their perfect laid plan for spacing. Like-
That's pile out, not pile in. It's for Helon. It lets you get out of the combat. Doesn't let
Ah,
you pile in again, and it doesn't give you like any of the hurricane abilities.
gotcha.
Yeah, they are resilient to spells. 4-up save ignores. And,
4-up spell
Yeah.
shrug.
and all heroes get the 2-up. They can shift a wound instead of
Yep.
just the. I mean,
Just
yeah,
a slant.
yeah.
That's okay. That's the thing I want to protect, anyways.
There are bonus 10 wounds to a Cathalar. There are bonus 10 wounds to a Lore Seeker or a Caligrave if you really feel like it. They cannot bodyguard Teclis, though, which is fine. It's sad that you can't, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Next up's the Caligrave. He's okay. He's 100 points, 5 wounds, 5-up save, 6-inch move. His Caligrave blade is not bad for 3-inch range, D3 attacks, 3s and 3s -1 for D3. There's a relic that only the mages get that's an extra 3 attacks. I've been talking about making him 3 plus D3 attacks on Mr. Caligrave and just put him in the middle of a unit of Bladelords and just go, surprise!
It wouldn't be it'd be a for fun thing for sure, but yeah, that'd be hilarious.
He could surprise somebody, boop some character that you didn't think he could.
His Realm Scribe ability is pretty solid.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Once per battle in your hero phase, instead of attempting to cast any spells with him, roll a die, add the number of the current battle round. There's a lot of battle round stuff in here now.
Yes.
5-up, pick a point
They're
anywhere on the
elves,
battlefield.
that's what they do.
For the rest of the battle, if he makes the roll, do not take battle check tests for Lumineth Realm Lords that are wholly within 9 of the point, and add 1 to casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for Lumineth that are within 9 of the point.
Situationally good. That's also very finicky.
If you get him off, if you're next to Teclis, if you're in Zytrek even, if you put up the Twin Stones, that's like, you're at +5 or 6 to cast at that point almost. For a lot of stuff. That it's nuts, but you're going to get it off late game. So you better hope the game goes a little while. Because you're also giving up your spell casting in order to try to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his spell isn't the worst thing ever.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It requires an FAQ.
The worst thing ever is a really low bar in this game.
He can cast an Unbind 1. He knows Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, and Erasure. Erasure is cast a 7. If successfully cast, pick an enemy hero within 24. You can either inflict D3 wounds, not mortal wounds, just wounds, so you probably get saves against that on that hero, or mark them from Erasure. If you do that, then if you cast the same spell on your next turn, it does D6 mortal wounds instead.
Which... Yeah?
So you cast twice.
That has to be a typo. Because D3 wounds doesn't tell you the damage characteristic.
On the app, it says mortal wounds. So
Okay, yeah.
So it might be mortal wounds. I was thinking, like, is this just wounds that you don't get to say? Like, I don't know. Is
Yeah,
this
no,
like,
I was with you because it's like
If
Warhammer
it-
Fantasy worked that way, right?
If it was true wounds, it'd be good. if not, like I said, it's a it's another arcane bolt. Only it's a supercharged arcane bolt, so not the worst thing ever.
You can only target heroes with it.
Yeah, that's the only people you target with arcane bolt.
That's fair. It is 24-inch range, so like if you bring a couple of these guys and you just like contemplate turn 1 and then turn 2, you're just like, here's 43 mortal wounds on that character. I guess that's a bit of points, but
Yep.
sure.
Still, I think there are better heroes to be paying for.
Yeah. Speaking of better characters,
How many
Lord
points is he?
He is 100 points flat.
Hmm.
He's the cheapest mage. So a lot of people like want to run him on the
Yeah, any 100-point
Oh,
mage
shrine.
is good.
Yeah, especially with such really good spell lores.
him on the Balewind casting the protection of Hish.
Yeah, any 100-point mage is good.
Yeah, that
and
becomes a
he's
15
5
aura
wounds with a 5+
Balewind.
save. He's not like 4 wounds with a 6-up.
Him casting protection off of Balewind, and now that we have a teleport spell,
Yeah.
Balewind is actually pretty decent because we can reposition that.
Yeah.
Make it a 15-inch aura of 5-up shrug, even if you're not running Teclis, and you can contemplate turn 1 if you want that up turn 2.
Still, I think the next is probably their best wizard.
Yes.
The Lore Seeker. 6
Because-
wounds, 6-inch move, 4-up save, bravery 8.
With the
His
ability to
staff
make
is-
it a 3-up save pretty easily.
Oh yeah. His range attack, 12-inch range, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2 D3. Cool. His melee attack, 1-inch range, 4 attacks, 2s and 3s, -1 for D3. He's good. He's fighty
Yep.
for what he is.
I mean, he's essentially a Bladelord of Hish from back in the day.
Oh yeah. I actually have that model on a 32 mil base to test him out sometime.
Lore Seeker.
If he kills an enemy model with an artifact, or if it's just slain within 3, he gets a command point. Neat.
It's a thing. But
Lone agent.
this is the good part. Oh, goodness.
Add 1 to his save rolls for attacks that target this model if he's more than 9 inches from any friendly models. So if he's away from people, he's a 3-up save. If he's close to them, he gets look out, sir. That's cool. In addition, instead of setting him up on the battlefield, you can place him to one side and say he's a lone agent. If you do so at the start of the first battle round, before determining who has the first turn, you must set this model up on the battlefield anywhere more than 3 inches from enemy units, and he steals an objective. If he's within 6 inches and has no enemy units within 6 inches of it, you gain control of it, and your opponent can't take you from it as long as he's alive within 6.
Oh, man. This is crazy. Especially with, with an army that can pin so easily.
Well, and it gives you a huge tempo play.
Yep.
Yeah, him and Alumnia, so you can run up the
yeah.
unit of Bladelords behind him for 10 extra wounds.
He's 140, isn't he?
He's 160.
160. But for 160 points, you can force a big chunk of an army to go a certain direction. Or them sacrifice that objective point for the entire game.
Yep.
You can
And he's a wizard.
Yep.
Cast an Unbind 1. The big point of that is he can cast our endless spell, Sanctum of Hish, which is -1 to hit for him, +1 to save, and if you're in combat with him, there's a chance he deals mortal wounds to you.
Yeah, he doesn't have a bound spell, but that doesn't matter because your lores are incredible.
Yep. So him, you just like with the Sanctum, you give him a 2-up save, -2 to hit if he's behind somebody. He's got an extra 10 wounds from Bladelords. You just have that objective.
Or you take 3 of them, take a whole bunch of objectives, and then just say, "Hey, where do you want to fight?"
How many
That is a key
points?
point. He is a unique character.
Oh, is
you
he?
can only take 1.
Okay.
How many points is the Sanctum of Hish spell?
30 points.
I would take Bellwind Vortex.
It's the oh yeah, I can see that.
Balewind Vortex does give you +1 to save, but the Sanctum also gives you an additional -1 to hit, so you'd be -2 base.
Yeah, but you're a level 2 wizard on a Bellwind.
That's fair, but the only other spells he knows is Arcane Bolt and Mystic Shield.
Yeah, and I want to cast both of those with him. I want to be a 2+ rerolling 1s. And I want to do mortal wounds.
That's fair.
Alrighty. As nifty as this is, I'm running out of time, so we have to move on.
All right, let's keep going.
Elenia and Elithor. They're the twins on the same model, a little base.
Any order model, any order army can take them.
Yup. So they're elf Gotrek.
Yep, they're an automatic +1 to casting and dispelling, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
They 4+, you get a command point, which solid for certain armies, not
They're
necessarily.
a Demi Slan.
Yep.
His 4 attack 2s and 3s Ren 2 sword. Its damage is the battle round number, so high battle round 4 swing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny, if nothing else.
The translocation's weird. At the end of the combat phase, roll if you fought in that phase. If the roll is less than the number of the current battle round or less than the number of wounds allocated to this model, heal D6 and teleport them anywhere outside of 12.
That's
and if there's
kinda
nowhere
crazy.
to put them, they just leave the battlefield and don't count as dead.
So it doesn't count for kill points.
Nope. But you have to do it. You don't get a choice. So like late game, you're gonna get in, you're gonna do those 4 damage swings, and then these guys are probably noping out somewhere.
Yeah,
Kill points don't really matter anymore,
They don't know.
but you could still secondary objectives from your opponent that way.
You could. They are also a cast and unbind too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Their
you get
bound
the +1
spell
attack.
is a 6. It gives them a 5-up ward.
Yep. They're a Demi Slan.
Yeah, they're a nifty model. I'm not sure how good they are because it's so all over the place.
How many points?
260.
Ew.
Yeah, oh my God.
Okay, yeah.
That's just it's a lesser slan. Like it's a combat slan that loses a spell.
The staff doesn't do bad damage either. 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 for D3, and their little their
8
owl
wounds, 3
attacks.
plus save, 6 move. I like them.
Pair them up next to Bladelords for 10 free wounds.
Yep.
That's basically what you pay Bladelords for. They're 120 points for 10 free wounds.
All right, what's next?
Next.
The Wind Mage.
Yep.
Savukan.
5 move 16, which is crazy. Wounds 5,
Yes.
save 5, which is not bad. His weapon is a weapon. 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, D3. Bleh. And
His
he
fan
flies.
adds 1 to save rolls for if you attack him with a missile weapon. In addition, if he rolls a 6 for an attack for a save roll against a missile weapon, he inflicts a mortal wound to an enemy unit within 9.
Which
He
is,
throws his shots back at you.
which is really cool. Not necessarily useful.
So he's 4 up saves against shooting. 3 up
His
if you don't
spell's not
cover.
bad. Wind Blast
Other way is
Vortex.
fly.
He's only a level 1 wizard.
Yep.
The Wind Blast Vortex goes off on a 5, very reliable. If cast until your next shooting phase, you can pick an enemy unit within 9 of the caster, roll a dice on a 2+ that take D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
That's
First,
a better arcane bolt.
better arcane bolt that you save. You like, I'm gonna cast this, and then I'm gonna move my 16 where I need to go and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why it's better. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Windcharger.
you were talking about Windley. We've talked about Windchargers. They've got that awesome line jumper ability because they're in Illuminate. And they run
They're
around
both
and they
all
shoot people. 14 inch move is crazy.
They are only 2 wounds with a 5+ save, though.
I mean, yeah, but
They're
so
little
are our
push.
pterodons and rippers.
They're both 3s and 3s, -1 for 1. Goes to -2 in combat. Their claws are 3s and 4s with 2 attacks.
How many points are they?
130 for 5.
And they come in units of 5? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
5 to 15.
And they can ignore terrain as if they had fly.
Yeah.
And their bows ignore cover.
Which is good situationally. I don't think they're
It's
enough
not
of
the-
a punchy unit for it to matter too much, but I think
Yeah, they're not-
their real benefit is their mobility because
They're not ignore line of sight like the Sentinels, but it is minus to save, or it's reducing the save. Like Helon, if you get them in combat and there's 3 attacks each, and you get them to like 2s and 3s -1, you can do something.
and they're pretty, which is always the most important thing.
They're a good skirmish unit, but that's what they are. Like, this is not something I would build an army around. They're interference, they're outriders, they're skirmishers.
Yep.
I've seen people want to build armies with them as like I'm going to be roadblocks with them.
Yes, exactly.
That was my immediate thought when I saw them. Like being able to jump. Like, it's a good thing that this faction doesn't have any good melee units. Otherwise, they'd be the best assassins in the game. That ability to just jump the line is insane.
With the archers, they almost are the best assassins. And with these guys next. So next up is Severus, Lord of the 7 Winds. 10 wounds, 24-inch move. That's nuts. 5 up save base. His bow is 18-inch range, 4 attacks, 2s and 3s, -3 for D3. And then both of his combat weapons are 3-inch range, one of which is just the bow, but only 2 attacks, but it loses a rend.
Mm-hmm.
See, the Roos gain a rend when they get in combat. The Spirit loses one.
Oh, yeah. He's actually punching people with his bow.
Yeah, he's making some people not like their days. He has the 5-up wound shrug. In addition, subtract 2-inch from enemy pile-ins from models.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
My question for that is like, so say an enemy model is outside of 3 inches at the start of their pile-in move. Do they lose 2 inches the second they hit that pile-in aura, or do they have to start within 3 of him? Mostly I've heard people say you have to start within 3 of him.
That would be my guess, but we'll have to wait for the errata. He also has Scour, which you pick a faction terrain feature within an inch of this model if you at the start of your charge phase. So he can just run up and make something useless. On a 2-up, the senior rules and the terrain features cannot be used for the rest of the battle. And it's not a once per game thing. So, it's a good thing our terrain ability is useless, because this would make it even more so. That's an insane ability.
It definitely tells Bone Reapers to go suck on one.
It doesn't, however, make it non-garrisonable for us.
Yes.
Yep.
Which is the main thing I want from the Realm Shaper engine.
Besides
so
being
while
consistent.
it does suck to lose mortal wounds, it's not that scary. It doesn't kick us out of the garrison, because that's not a special rule. That's just garrisonable terrain.
I have been boned once by that, by the mortal wounds that thing is put out, so
yes,
I'd probably do this.
and it's not like it costs you anything. He has Searing Desert Winds, which is if he passes over you on a 3-up, you suffer D3 mortal wounds.
Yep. He has
which has got
Cyclone.
that whole pile-in thing.
Yep, Living Cyclone, so if he ends a charge move within 3 on a 3-up, he deals a mortal wound, and you're -1 to hit rolls until the end of the combat phase.
And Spirit of the Wind. At the end of shooting phase, this model can make a normal move of 12, but cannot run.
And this is every shooting phase.
And it can retreat and still charge later in the same turn. I have a feeling that's going to get errated to be your shooting phases, but yes. Yeah, it's every
I feel like a few people have thought it's going to be that. I wouldn't mind if it was both, because it just makes him unchargeable. Which, sure, fine. You're going to kill him with shooting anyway.
Yep. In your hero phase, if model is within 12 of a friendly Wind Mage, heal D3 wounds. Wind Mage Symbiosis, which is good recovery, especially with how durable this guy can be.
He's 300 points. He's 50 more points than the generic guy, but my big advantage for him is he's hero, so he gives out the aura of the battalion, and he gets Lookout Sir.
Yep. The normal one loses Scourge, but that's about it.
Yep, he loses Scourge, and he loses the flying over people dealing mortal wounds, and he also loses a rend on the bow.
Very solid.
And he's 8 wounds instead of 10 for the unnamed one.
Yeah, that is Teclis for the most part. A lot of speculation because it just came out, but we're going to have to go more in depth on everything next week after you guys have used it or fight against it, and unfortunately I have more time.
It's all good. I talk way too much. I love this.
He's used to it. Don't worry.
Yeah, this is Wandering Lizard Wizards. We do nothing but ramble. Yeah, it's 2 hours was definitely within my general expectations.
I mean, we spent 15 minutes just on Croak.
Yeah, there's reasons for that, but yeah. Regardless, we will have to pick this up next week. I'm sorry for having to cut this short. The jungle's calling me home.
Good night.
Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Of course, we'll have to do this again.
For sure.